Well, hi, everybody, and welcome. This is Joel Thompson with Montana Public Employee Retirement, and this is our leaving employment account options for employees. So this is a very brief presentation, but I feel a very important presentation that will kind of cover uh, your important options that you have if you're thinking about leaving PERS covered employment. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And also, I will leave plenty of time at the end of the presentation for questions. And I will have the chat open at that time. So let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, you have some important choices to make, especially if you're thinking about covered employment. Um, so we'll talk about those different options and resources in this presentation. So I would have to say, in all my years of working for Impera, one of the most frequently asked questions I have with people that are leaving employment, they will ask, are refunds mandatory? And the quick answer is no. A refund is only one of several options that you have on the table when you leave employment. In fact, if a member has $1,000 or more on account, you do have the option to leave your money where it is. You do not have to be vested. You do not have to have 5 years of membership. The benefit to this is a member who leaves contributions on account and comes back to a Montana PERS covered position at a later date can resume their membership. I always like to think of this as like hitting the pause button. When a person leaves, they hit pause, and if they come back, they just pick up where they left off. Also, it's important to note that there is no time limit to make a decision about your account. There is no ticking clock. There is no paperwork for you to fill out. Really, that all, depends on your situation. So let's talk about returning to work. Now, if an employee returns to a PERS covered job and they left their money on account, again, you can continue your membership in PERS. There are well over 560 plus PERS employers in the state of Montana. So chances are, if you are staying in public service in the state of Montana, there will likely be an employer that will offer PERS. So we have many, many members over their career have worked for not just for one PERS covered employer, but multiple employers. Also, it's important to note if an employee refunds, takes their money out of the system, and they come back to a PERS covered job, they will be considered a new member. So you will be starting at square one with your membership. So let's talk about refunds. Refunds are one of your options. You can leave it on account or you can take your money out if you choose. So in all the defined benefit systems that we administer for the state of Montana, only member contributions plus interest are refundable. By law, employer contributions are not refundable. Another important thing is refunds are subject to taxes. The IRS requires us to withhold 20% right off the top for taxes before we issue, that payment to the member. Also, if the member is under age 59 and a half, there could be an additional 10% penalty. So if you're under 59 and a half, a good portion of that refund will be subject to taxes. Also, once a member takes a refund, their membership ends. Now, for PERS defined contribution plan members, these are the folks that when they were brand new, they chose the investment plan, very similar to a 401k plan. It's set up slightly differently, so we'll cover that as well. Members are entitled to contributions plus investment earnings if they decide to refund. But a big difference at 5 years of membership in the defined contribution plan, members are vested in their employer contributions and earnings. However, termination or death prior to vesting, Those employer contributions are non-refundable. However, if you're a defined contribution plan member, you leave employment, but leave your money on account and come back to a Montana PERS job at a later date, you can resume membership and continue to earn service time towards your vesting in the employer contributions. So that's really important, especially being a defined contribution plan member. Now, over in defined benefit, again, yes, you are vested at 5 years of membership. However, you do not gain access to the employer contributions until you actually retire and start drawing your monthly benefit. That is the time when you gain access to your employer dollars. Also, again, defined contribution plan members have that option. They can leave their money on account. They can continue to manage it and have access to all Empower services. So let's talk about another option. And many people ask, are account rollovers an option? And again, the answer to this is yes. We have many members that decide they would like to do a direct rollover to another qualified retirement plan. And the upside of this is rollovers are not subject to taxes. So this is a way of deferring taxes to a later date. The only time you do pay taxes is when you take that account, basically pay as a payment to you. Again, defined benefit plan members can roll over member contributions plus interest. And just to, kind of recap with defined contribution, members vested with 5 years can roll both employer and employee contributions to another qualified plan. Non-vested members may only roll over employee contributions. So let's talk about what a qualified plan is. Just so you know, a qualified plan is a retirement plan that complies with the Internal Revenue Code and the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. So essentially, it's what the IRS, where it checks all the boxes saying, yes, you can roll your money into this account. This can run the spectrum depending on, where you're working or where you plan to go work at. It could be a private sector 401k. It could be a 403b plan. These are investment plans that are very common with universities, schools, nonprofits. We have public sector deferred compensation plans, 457Bs. It could be a traditional IRA, or with the federal government, it could be a thrift savings plan. So moving on, let's talk about some important tips. Again, with your retirement account, it's good that you take your time and make informed choices. As I was saying at the beginning, there is no time frame on our part. There is, again, no ticking clock. So again, you want to make the best choice possible about your retirement account. I mean, this is money that is intended for your, later self in life. So again, you want to make sure that you use your resources. And we're going to be talking a little more about resources in just a minute. But also, one of the biggest things to think about is thinking of the long term. Again, money that is intended for your older self. And ultimately, it is your account and your decision. Now, in workplaces, HR, I don't see it as much as I used to, but there are often well-meaning people that are very quick to advise on these things. They're well-meaning, but ultimately it's about you and your decision. Also, very important, if you are in the defined benefit retirement plan, the traditional pension plan, and you're vested with 5 years of membership service, you may be eligible for a future benefit. So again, using your resources, reaching out to Empara staff, you may have the option of leaving that on account. Even if you're not age eligible to start drawing that benefit, you do have the option to leave it on account until you are age eligible. I've assisted many members that have left their service time on account gone off and many times had a second career, but they were able to come back and apply for that monthly benefit. So it's kind of a win-win for the individual. So moving forward, a few things. I like to think of these as best practices. When leaving employment, make sure that your information is up to date with us. And I like to think just simple ABC. That would be your address, your beneficiary information. This is very, very important to make sure that your beneficiary information is up to date. If something does happen to you, you want to make sure that that is current, that your primary beneficiary is the person that you would want to receive your account. And also basic contact information. So this could be a current phone number or email address. For many years, we've had people with inactive accounts, and we simply cannot find these people. It's not so much as it used to be, but you want to make sure that we can get in touch with you if need be. So, as far as resources and keeping in touch with Impera, and if you're with Defined Contribution, Empower Retirement, we have a member call center. Maybe some of you have already utilized that service. We have a member call center, and they are staffed Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and they can help with any important questions you have about your account. They can be reached either at the toll-free number I have listed here or the local Helena number, the 444 number. Either one will get you to one of our call center agents. Now, also, our call center manages our general email account, impera@mt.gov. And usually they respond within, a 24-hour period. But either way, whatever you're more comfortable with, a phone call or an email, call center can help out. If you have a more detailed question, they can get you in touch with the right staff member. Our website, again, another valuable resource for you, impera.mt.gov. Now, here with our website, we have, additional trainings, videos, handbooks. If you need a new beneficiary form, this is a really good place to get started and kind of educate yourself more about your plan. Also, Empower Retirement. We have 3 Montana-based representatives. If you're in the defined contribution plan, or if you participate in the state of Montana's 457B deferred compensation plan. Again, 3 Montana-based reps that are available to help. You can set up an appointment with them online. If you go to the website I have listed, imparadcplans.com, and there is a section called Meet Your Montana Team. This is the same website where you would log in to see your defined contribution account or your 457 account. So again, I encourage you, you've got important resources, make use of them, and we can make sure that you get taken care of. And with that, I will come back to our contact information in a second, and I will open it up for questions here in just a moment. Again, my general email, jthompson3@mt.gov. I am always glad to help. If you want to just reach out directly, this is what I do every day, help tackle those important questions, and please don't hesitate to reach out.